Motivated every day. Happy Motivated Monday, champion. It is 7:14 a.m. on Monday in month number 3. He woke up just fine. Nothing catastrophic had happened. The week ahead is full but not unusual. And yet, sitting at his kitchen table with his enjoyable coffee with his favorite coffee cup, there is still a cortisol load already running in his body that has nothing to do with any specific threat, champion. His HPA axis has been activated. His adrenals are already producing cortisol in response to the anticipation of demands that have not yet even arrived, champions. He cannot feel this in any dramatic way, though. It just sort of presents itself as low-level tension, low grade, a slight edge, a readiness that has never quite become rest, champions. He has had this feeling for so long that he has stopped recognizing it as an actual psychological or physiological state. He thinks it is just how Monday mornings feel. Here's what is actually happening in his biology, though, champions. The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the HPA axis, is a hormonal cascade that runs from the hypothalamus in the brain through the pituitary gland to the adrenal glands sitting above the kidneys. And when the hypothalamus detects a threat, champion, whether it's real or just anticipated, it releases corticotropin-releasing hormone, which signals the pituitary to release ACTH, which signals the adrenals to do what? Produce that cortisol. The whole cascade takes about 15 minutes, champions. And here is the part that most people never hear. The HPA axis cannot distinguish between a physical threat and a psychological one. So the anticipation of Monday morning demands activates the identical cortical cascade that is really a predator encounter, is the way his body's receiving that. You see, the cortisol is real, right? The adrenal suppression of his immune function, his digestion, and reproductive hormones is real, champions. And it has been happening every Monday morning at a chronic low level for years. And what he needs is not a mindset shift, champions. He needs a compound that blunts the cortisol cascade at the receptor level, right? Very basic. So the signal is modulated before it depletes the entire system, champions. Welcome to month number 3, the hormonal health and peak performance, champions. And we begin now where every hormonal conversation really truly must begin. And that is with the hormone that overrides everything else when it is dysregulated. And that hormone, champions, is cortisol. Cortisol is not the villain. Chronic dysregulation is. You see, cortisol in a healthy rhythm is one of your most powerful performance allies, champion. Why? Because it mobilizes energy, it sharpens your focus, it drives the morning alertness that makes your best work possible in the AM. The problem is not cortisol. The problem is HPA axis that never fully resets between the activation cycles. And so what happens is that produces the chronic low-level cortisol load that suppresses testosterone, champions. It impairs your immune system, champions. And it degrades sleep and architecture required for restful, repairing sleep. And it gradually erodes every other hormonal system in your body, champion. And so here we are at week number 9 with this cortisol blend I want to share with you. This is the Motivated Everyday HPA Axis Reset. We use Ashwagandha KSM 66. We'll take 600 milligrams of full spectrum root, standardized, and phosphatidylserine of at least 400 milligrams from sunflower lecithin. And so the KSM 66 is going to work with your HPA axis at the hypothalamic level. We have the phosphatidylserine that will work with blunting the cortisol at the ACTH stimulation level. It will reduce that. And as a result, together, they will address that cortisol cascade that I was talking about from its neurological origin to its adrenal execution, champions. From the source to the output. The most complete cortisol modulation available from all natural compounds. So let's talk about phosphatidylserine. It's a phospholipid that is a structural component of every single cell in your body. And in every one of those membranes, it has its highest concentration in the brain and the adrenal tissue, though. So multiple placebo-controlled clinical trials have found and documented that phosphatidylserine has a potential. Its ability to move through the brain barrier is significant. And so as a result, it gives you a better response to chronic stress by at least 20 to 30%. It improves your cognitive functioning under stress. It works by modifying the sensitivity of the adrenal cortex to that ACTH stimulation without eliminating it so that you're off balance. So it adjusts. And so with hypothalamic modulation, you have cascade that's interrupted at 2 points simultaneously, champion. So here is Monday's technique. The motivated everyday cortisol audit, champions. We do it like this. Before you open any device, champion, before you write your whatever you're going to type out in your text or someone, just let's start off with writing your honest hormonal cortisol state. 1 to 10, 3 points, morning, evening, midday. Over the course of the week 9, this audit's going to reveal your diurnal cortisol pattern in a truly subjective data that your physician's lab work will prove, because you're going to ask your physician for a 4-point saliva cortisol test for the morning, the noon, the afternoon, and the evening. And this will map the actual cortisol rhythm that's experiencing itself through your body. This blend will target it, the data will confirm it, and we'll be able to find out where the dysregulation lives. So real talk, champions. On this Motivated Monday, you spent several months, 2 months, 3 months building this foundation. And now we go after the hormone that has been quietly undermining everything that you built and everything that you're trying to build. Cortisol dysregulation, champions, is not just a soft, easy, let it pass wellness issue. It is the biological mechanism behind declining testosterone, impaired cognitive performance, disrupted sleep, and reduced immune system resilience. So champions, addressing it is not optional for somebody who wants to truly perform at an optimal level that I know you're aiming for. It is the prerequisite for everything working. So here we are, month 3, the cortisol axis, the most important hormonal conversation you've never been taught to have, champions. Your physician has the test. That's a good thing. And you have the blend. And now, for the first time, you also have the mechanism. So let's go, champions. Alignment is the key. Motivation is the motion. The premium lifestyle is the result. Stay motivated every day.